Hello, Internet. We are still a little bit late today, but we're getting better every single week. So, well done to us. Uh, this is welcome to the Kelara adventure, which is my own little homebrew world, where currently four Australians and one token American are running around fighting demons and spiders and trying not to die. Just going to jump straight into it for the moment. Actually, no, we've got one announcement, which is that we now have got all of our videos uploaded onto our YouTube channel. So there's a little panel just down there that you can click on. If this is the first time you've been with us, then you can see what's happened in the past. Meet briefly our two past comrades. We miss you guys. Life happens occasionally. No one's gone down to coronavirus, thankfully. Yeah, no one's gone down yet. But I mean, this is the thing. At least with remote streaming and remote play, this is something that we're still going to be able to do. So even though there's no AFL, no NBA, no baseball, no cricket, no sport on TV, and you can't go to the movies, we're still here, so come along and check us out. Moving into tonight's little adventure, just recapping on last week, you guys enjoyed relatively peaceful hike into the mountains south of Dewcliff after your little breaking and entering at Dominic's house on the way. Found yourselves found the little dwarven commune and the Frostforge mines where you met Vondros. Yeah, let's make characters whose names you can't even pronounce. Vondros Frostforge, and he informed you that his daughter Lesswyn and her husband Darrak they'd had this collapse which had opened up a section of cavern in their mines. And his daughter Lesswyn and her husband were the ones who normally sort of went in and just sort of made sure everything's okay. They were the warrior types, and they had fallen to whatever nasty things were behind this door that they had found. So you entered into this new cavern, found a number of signs that it wasn't necessarily completely a natural cave. That even though there was a lot of erosion and wear and tear on the stone, there were also signs of very long gone past use. Fought a pair of ice mephits and then found yourself face to face with a couple of giant spiders, one of whom brought Poppy quite literally to the very brink of death. One hit point away from instant dying. But did manage to save her and rescue her, and then were able to retrieve the bodies of Lesswyn and Darrak as well, providing Vondros and the Frostforge family with at least this opportunity for them to give their family a proper burial. Vondros provided you with quarters, giving you the opportunity to sort of clean yourselves up, rest a little. None of you are feeling overly great at the end of that bit of adventure. And a little while later, some food's been brought in. Handful of dried meats, but mostly plant-based food, very earthy type of flavours, a lot of mushroom or moss-based meals, as you'd probably expect would be the most palatable things to eat around this kind of region. But you do have, it's still early afternoon, you do have basically the time to do as you please while Vondros makes the arrangements to transport the deceased back to Dewcliff for burial. And what would you like to do?
They have like a potato cake, these dwarves.
There is some potato food in the. It's not a potato cake, but there is some
Not
potato.
like potato cake.
I'm sure they
That's like
probably.
a.
They haven't brought you every single thing that they're capable of cooking. There's no potato cakes actually in.
Last time I do anything for dwarves. No, I don't mean that. All
We're
right, I'll just.
I'm trying to work out whether when you say potato cake, you're actually meaning like a potato cake as.
It's an Irish thing. I
Oh,
had it the other day at like a cafe I went to.
right.
Potato cake. My
Yes.
girlfriend hated it. Actually, so did my boyfriend. I thought it was okay.
we're fully inland, right? There's like no fish.
No, there are no fish.
Bummer, man. All right, so I mean, I'm just gonna eat my fill as I am a growing boy,
Mm-hmm.
and then I think I'll just head out and see if anything needs doing. I don't like sitting still for too long.
Yep. So you guys take the opportunity, take at least the time to have a short rest. I think in there. So if anyone wants to roll hit dice or anything just to recover some of their.
For some reason, I already have 12 hit points. Is that from healing, I think?
There was
Or is
some
that not
healing.
meant to be here?
No, I'm pretty sure
It
there was
heals
some
there.
healing given to you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
Well, I shall
because you
short
you
rest my
you were
one hit point.
you were healed, but still paralyzed. So you were conscious for a lot of the time that you were actually paralyzed.
All right. Well, I shall roll my hit die.
I'm instantly back to full.
Yay!
Oh, I rolled an 8 and I only needed 1. What a waste.
That's why I rolled my d6 and not my d10.
The joy of multiclassing.
We good.
Gee, some nice rolls for.
What you gonna do with all that health?
Hopefully nothing.
So does anyone else then? If after a while Shasta kind of stands up and.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see if like anybody needs help doing some, I don't know, physical stuff, moving things around. I don't like sitting still, you know? You just gotta keep moving forward, otherwise nothing gets done, right? You guys are more than welcome to come along if you want, or if that's not your speed, you can like chill for a little bit.
I'll come along. I think I want to see what they have around to sell or.
Shopping. I'll come for that. Also, I'd like to know, are spiders like a common problem around this mountain?
Espen's just gonna stand out of FOMO. Ugh.
Okay, so you guys head out, and you wander back out of the mine before you sort of see anyone. And there's a few sort of dwarves. You can see Vondros over in front of the largest building, talking to a few people. The settlement here is very small, like we said. It's probably only about half a dozen buildings. You've got this large central sort of building that kind of looks like it must be like the administration type hub for things there. Having obviously been into the mines now, you realise that most of the workers who are here probably have their accommodation on site and within the actual mines and places that they're actually working. So what's out here is mainly sort of support facilities. What you have a closer look, there's one building that seems to be kind of like a hardware store. They've got a variety of shovels and picks and things like that lined up out the front. There's a blacksmith, which doesn't seem to be operating just at the present, and 2 taverns, and what seems to be like a food storage area as well.
Okay.
Are there people like moving about, or does everyone
Yeah.
seem quite solemn?
There's people around, but they do seem to all be, that they are all sort of fairly solemn, and not necessarily. So the word has obviously passed around, and it is a small settlement. Even though there's a couple of different mines which seem to be different families, everyone here is still very closely knit, and so it's probably that this is affecting everyone fairly severely.
Right.
So there wouldn't be anything here that would sell weaving tools?
You could check with there's only the one sort of retail place, which looks to be like a hardware store, so you could check, but it does look like it's probably more mining equipment. Yeah.
Okay then.
I guess I'll go check out the blacksmiths. I feel like I remember hearing something about them.
The blacksmith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll follow in that direction.
Okay. Alright. So you wander over. The blacksmith itself is like a fairly open, like most blacksmiths, it's a fairly open sort of building, lots of ventilation coming through. So couple of anvils and a fireplace set up, and then a little sort of closed off area where probably equipment's stored, and maybe the blacksmith himself actually happens to sleep as well. You walk in, and the guy, the dwarf standing there, has wild red hair and patchy red beard. Doesn't look like he sleeps all that often. He's got quite heavy bags under his eyes, and sort of slight bloodshot appearance to them as well. He's a little bit pudgy, and wears a shirt that's a little bit too small for him. So there's a little bit of gut hanging out underneath it. But seems to have has quite a ruddy face, that kind of look that sort of is fairly warm and friendly. Maybe even a little bit without making judgments. You'd kind of gives you that feeling of maybe a little bit dopey. But he looks up and sees you, and how can I help you? Not very often I see tall folk around.
Oh, my people.
You must be the ones who came to help all wanderers.
Are you from around here?
We're all from around here. It's a small community. We know each other fairly well.
Oh, I thought I recognized something in your voice for a minute there. Doesn't matter.
Oh, because I sound a little bit like you.
A wee bit. I thought you might have spent some time round about my town, but suppose not.
No, I can't say I've been there.
I didn't tell you the name of my town, but all right.
Yes, but I've never been out of here, so It's a fairly good
Okay,
chance
that's
that I
fair.
haven't been to your town.
That's fair.
So what can I do for you folk? You need any weapons or anything like that? I don't necessarily... Weapons aren't necessarily my strong point, but...
Not at the minute, man. I don't know about my compatriots here, but you know, I don't know. I hate sitting still. Do you want any like help or know anybody that needs help out around here? It's like while we're waiting for things to get underway with the preparations and such for, the stuff that's gone down.
Yeah, I mean, on a normal day, then most people would be after some help, but I think a lot of it's actually fallen to down tools at the moment, and I think most people are getting prepared to help Vondros get the family back to Dewcliff for a funeral. Sad day it is. Sad day.
Did this guy say his name? No. Do we
He
know his
didn't.
name?
No.
Okay. Uh,
Mm. Yeah, man, it's never easy to go through something like that.
Oh, I can't say I've ever lost a child myself, but I mean, I remember when my old pop died. Good thing about this community is that we all rally around each other.
That's admirable. If you know everyone so closely, do you know an Avaton? I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly. I'll be honest with you, but
Avatar.
when we were speaking with Vondros, he said he might have been the last person to maybe be a remaining witness to what was going on here.
Thanks for DM Sydney going, who was that? Who was that? I need to be able to keep better track of my NPCs, obviously. Oh, Avatar, yes. Haven't seen him this morning, but I'd say he'd be in he works for Vondros, so if anyone's going to know where he is, then
Yeah, of
Don't
course.
really-
I wanted to maybe leave Vondros to himself.
of course, yeah.
yeah.
Do you think much of this Avaton fellow?
He's a good young lad. Still a little bit rough around the edges, as you know, some of these young kids can be.
Not so
Well,
for me.
just he sort of gives you a bit of an eye, and he's like, sort of taking you in yourself. He's like, well, young people can be a little bit volatile. All that energy and not enough ways to get rid of it.
We try our best.
You do.
I don't mean no offense by it, but
Well, I'm just gonna kind of like look to the group, like I'm ready to. I want to go find this dude.
What is your proudest creation that is for sale at the moment?
my proudest creation. I'm not really that kind of smith. I mean, you look around, and it's all just sort of very generic pickaxes and shovels and just mining tools, and it's all it's literally kind of more like molded cast stuff than actual beaten,
Yeah.
beaten things.
Okay.
He's probably more of a manual worker than a creator, so to speak.
All
He
right.
sort of points out one of the axes, one of the picks, which maybe has a little bit more shine to it, but other than that, doesn't necessarily look much different to any of the rest of them. It's like, that one there is
All
a
right.
pretty good. That one there came out really nicely. Like the cast there
It?
was just very smooth.
A very nice pick you have.
Uh,
What is it like a? I don't even know enough about pickaxes in real life to try and think of anything to ask. Um, is it? Do you mind if I hold it? Is that all right? I just want to get a feel, see if it's like the right weight for me.
yeah, of course you can.
Awesome.
And it is, it's probably easy, probably not too difficult for you. Like, it doesn't. It's probably a little bit oversized, but not necessarily.
Well, he is a dwarf, so
Yeah.
shouldn't be too much bigger.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
All right. How much for this? It's very nice. Has a nice feel to it.
That is what I was just about to check. So he looks at it and then looks at you and he's like, I reckon I could let that one go for 2 gold.
Gold. Are we going to be in town long, lads?
At least another day, right? We're headed back to Dewcliff soon.
Mm,
Yeah.
You know what? I'll buy it.
Oh.
2 gold.
Why, thank you very much. I'm
Thank you.
most appreciate it. He gives you a
Pleasure doing business.
big smile. His his red beard kind of, like sort of splits apart in odd places as his smile
Aw.
just. It's just sort of, like it's just not quite 100% filled in, even though he's fairly old. Or not fairly old. He's probably in his 40s or so, or the equivalent of his 40s.
Oh.
But
Right, I'm removing
you
2 gold.
you make him very happy, and you can mark down that you have a dwarven pick.
Dwarven pick. Awesome. Thank you. Well, fantastic. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day.
You're welcome.
Awesome.
I try to say without making it sound like I'm being Maui. You're welcome. So you wander off. There's
That was
Vondrus seems to have disappeared from where the group. There's still a couple of people milling around the front of this central building, but Vondrus seems to have moved on from there. So if you didn't want to disturb him, that group of people there is. There's also 2 other sort of what seem to be main mine shafts, and you can see over the one that over the Frostforge mine there was one sort of rune, and the other 2 have 2 different runes over them as well. So there's like 3 different families or 3 different main, from what you can tell, main mines in this area that make up the entire operation.
Cool. I want to walk up to the group, like small little group of people,
Yeah.
and just kind of like give them a wave. Say, hi. bit forward of me, I suppose. But are any of you Avaton, or do you know where I might find him?
So there's about five. There's five of them standing there, and one is the red-headed woman that you first met when you first came in. And then there's another female with brown hair and three males. One who seems to be very old. He's got white hair and a very heavy, long white beard. Looks quite muscular still, but is dressed more in sort of almost in like cleric type robes rather than sort of the more utilitarian wear that most people around here seem to be dressed in. There are also two other younger miners. None of them, if from what what's his name? I've already gone blank on it. Oh no, because I didn't tell you. That's why. From what the blacksmith told you. From what the blacksmith told you, none of these probably look like they're necessarily going to be Avatar. Only because they all probably look like they're a little bit older than what you kind of assume he might have been meaning in regards to his comments about these ragamuffin young people.
Right, gotcha.
But the redheaded woman who was there yesterday, she's oh, of course. He'd probably be in the... No, he would be in there. I saw him go into the Border Shield mine about half an hour ago, and she points over to the one in the middle. If you're sort of looking at this community from the like little entryway when you first came off the mountain path, the Frostforge mine was off to the right. There's one that's kind of and the other two kind of are off towards the left a little bit more, but she points to the one that's kind of in the centre of the three, which he's probably off to see. Probably off to see Evelyn. Well, I don't know that they're actually betrothed or anything as yet, are they? And she looks around. So, no, I don't think so. No. His paramour, shall we say?
Young folk.
Right. Whereabouts does she stay?
Just in the Boulder Shield mine, Shield mine over there, and yeah. Everyone lives in. Basically, most of the workers here live in the dormitory accommodations in the mines. At least while they're here, most of them have homes down in Dewcliff as well that they can.
Can I have a look at this cleric fella, see if I can identify whose symbol he's wearing?
Give me a perception check.
I don't know.
You have a bit of a glance. You're trying to sort of, and you kind of get caught up. Instead of actually on trying to look, you get caught up on trying to make sure it looks like you're not looking. And so, in the effort of being surreptitious about what you're about trying to check this guy out, you actually kind of get distracted and struggle to actually see and make out any particular any particular holy symbol in regards to that he may actually have on there. The only thing that you do really notice is just a little bit of white threading woven throughout the black robes that he's wearing. So
All right, thank you. Black.
Well, thank you for your help.
You're
And,
welcome.
I hope you're all okay.
Well, it doesn't happen very often, but it's not the most safest of occupations of here, so we do have our share of tragedy, unfortunately. Sad when it's someone so young, but we'll rally around the family like we do, and we'll all put a stop to our duties for tomorrow and head down, let them be buried peacefully.
Cool. I'm just gonna kind of like give a little solemn head nod, and then I'm gonna turn to the rest of the group and just be like, he might be in the middle of something, but I think it'd be helpful to go speak to someone who might know something more. No?
What would he be in the middle of, man?
Okay. Sometimes when people meet with their paramours, they talk about.
I think she means in the middle of a private encounter, if you will.
Perhaps, but I'd like to go speak.
That elf fella that you winked at the other night.
Oh, you're talking about. Okay. I see what you're saying. Well, I know how to be a rude dude when I need to, so I'll go like bust down the door if I hear anything going bump in the night.
Or in the afternoon, as it were.
Hell yeah.
Gonna find my baby, gonna hold her tight.
Perhaps we can just start with a knock. Sound good?
It really isn't our business if they're in the middle of something. We can just come back later.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Or we could ruin his day. I don't, it's all the same to me.
What else are we gonna do in this time? I mean, we're not all feeling up to going straight back in there and seeing how many are left, right?
Sorry, did you say there's a general store in this town?
There's a general store. There's a little building that looks to be the general store.
Oh, right. And has it got like an armory or anything in it?
You can go and check if you like. From what you can see, like on the outside of it, it's more picks and shovels and forks and things like that are used. But if you want to go and have a wander in, you can. So it's a stone. All of the buildings around here are stone, obviously. Single-story building with a grey tiled roof. As you walk in, you can see sort of probably 3 or 4 shelves lining, and it's kind of like a general store that you would find in the equivalent of like a country town. Like there's a lot of there's hammers, there's helmets, there's lanterns, those sorts of things on the shelves. A few sort of trinkets and knickknacks here and there that maybe have been traded at some point. But this is a fairly isolated community. Other than as far as you're aware at least, the only people who are going to be travelling the path that comes past here are monks going to and from the monastery further up the mountains. So this is really just here to just support someone's gone, yeah, I'll come up here and support the miners by selling stuff to them.
Can I see like a shopkeeper, something like that?
Yes, yeah, you can see a shopkeeper. So there's a female dwarf dressed in black clothing.
Sorry.
Seems to be
Do you
fairly
guys
old
mind
as
if I
well.
just pop in for a second?
Oh.
Sorry.
Um,
Okay, thank you. I can catch up with it, like.
I'm not in a rush.
Right.
so the
Okay.
shopkeeper, yeah.
I'll
Sorry. I think we're having a couple of audio issues tonight. Poppy, what are you up to?
I'll head over to this dwarven lady, and I'll just ask her, have you got any bug repellent?
Bug repellent.
Bug spray or something like that.
She pauses and thinks for a minute, and let me check something.
I know it's probably unusual. I just well, is it unusual?
I've heard of
Or do you get like a lot of large bugs around here?
where we get the. I mean, how large are we talking? We get bugs.
Large enough, I would say. Do you have something that would help keep them away or kill them?
Look, I've heard stories of alchemical products that can be used to sort of, you spray you not spray, but you use them as like an oil that you put on your body that will actually keep mosquitoes and bugs away. They don't like it, obviously, so they don't trouble you, but I've not heard of it as a spray.
No.
And
Well, have you got any of that oil?
no, I don't,
By
sorry.
any chance?
I mean, there's an
Okay.
alchemist down in Dewcliff who, her name's... She's more of a herbalist, really, but it'd be the closest thing that I would think would be Erin, the herbalist down in Dewcliff. And Aria, you met her. She's a halfling, very nice older lady, but that would be probably the closest person I'd think that would be able to help you with something like that.
All right. Do you have anything that I don't want to impede my movement, but I really don't like bugs. So do you have any like long sleeves or bracers or anything like that, really? Just to keep me away from the bugs, as it were.
She looks around the store that she goes, I don't really stock that kind of stuff. I'm trying to think of something that might work, but I don't know. I mean,
Do you just have like a stack of bandages or anything like that?
I've got some bandages. I do.
Or some leathers, actually. If you have any leather, is there a leather worker in town, or like a tanner or someone?
We don't have a tanner. No, I mean we don't have the animals up here to require tanning.
Makes sense. All right. So you don't have any leathers here, even just like raw leathers?
No, this is just I just basically stock what the miners are gonna need to buy.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you very much. You have a nice day.
You too. I'm sorry I couldn't be of more. And she lifts up her hand and you see as she sort of lifts up her left hand and sort of adjusts the spectacles that are on her face, her hand's very badly like sort of almost like you can see that it's been burned and it's kind of stuck in like this sort of claw kind of thing. She just lifts up, adjusts her spectacles, and I do apologise that I don't have anything more to help you with, but
That's quite alright. You were very helpful. Told me about the alchemist and that sort of thing, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Alright, you have a good one.
You too.
Thank you. Alright, I'll duck out.
Yep. Not the right. You sort of get the sense as you sort of think it's not necessarily the right place to try and stock up on armor and.
Really don't like bugs. I thought it was worth a try.
Oh, definitely.
And she like comes back out of the store and just gonna be like, "Did you get what you needed to?"
Not really, but that's okay. That's okay.
Never know if you don't try. And now you know.
Right? Anyway, I met a nice lady, so that's alright. Win some, lose some.
Indeed.
All right. So what's the plan?
We go like politely knock on this door, right?
Okay, cool. Let's go.
Politely knock.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start walking towards the mine.
The Boulder Shield mine.
Correct.
Yep. Okay, so you make your way in. Like the other one, this one's. These mines have been built by dwarves and for dwarves. So other than Poppy, most of you are kind of crouching down a little bit as you go through most of the spaces in there. You're not far in, and you're met by another female dwarf. Probably not much old, doesn't look too much older than what you guys are either. She's wearing just wearing grey clothing, and has black hair kept up in like a top high ponytail, amber eyes that have like even though that she's sort of, her expression sort of says, she's not necessarily in the best of mood, there's this sort of almost that joyous type of gleam in her eyes and about her demeanor that is like she's just that kind of happy person usually. She doesn't look it right now, but you kind of get that sense that she's probably usually that kind of person who's going to be kind of the center of attention at parties and telling all the jokes and that sort of thing.
Hey, hello.
Yeah. Oh, hi. How can I help you? You like, or are you like the ones who came and rescued?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I didn't do an awful lot, but we were just wondering where Vandross is, if you've seen him. Or there was another fellow as well.
Vandross. Oh, Avaton. Yes, I saw him head into Evelyn's room.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Probably about half an hour or so ago.
Oh, okay. So he's.
It's that one over there. She points to a door, sort of probably 4 or 5 down.
Okay. All right.
Are you looking for me for anything in particular? I'm not sure what they're doing in there, but the door has been closed. I mean, there's not a sock on it or anything, so.
We've been told Avatar might have a bit of an understanding of some things that have been going on. We just want to talk.
Oh, I do think he. I did hear that he was in there when whatever happened to Lesswyn and Darrak actually happened. That.
When you saw him, half an hour ago, did he look all right?
Oh, I don't think he looked all right at all.
No? How do you look? What was?
Pretty shaken up. I think it's been this happened, I think yesterday. But obviously, if you witness something like that, whatever it was, then you're not necessarily. We've only been able to sort of get half the story. Do you know what happened yourselves? Like,
We don't know everything yet.
what, there was some kind of monster?
It's like,
Aye.
I mean, spiders, right?
Spiders. That
And some weird ice things.
she at that she doesn't seem as surprised as spiders, and then you sort of say the ice things. And she's like, "What do you mean by ice things?"
Like, sort of just creatures made of ice. Sort of came out.
Are you
And then we dealt with
serious?
them, and then there were spiders.
There was like what, like living ice.
I think so. I keep going to like look to Espen, but Joe is not actually in my living room, so it's not working.
I'm just giving you hugs and winks of encouragement, like, you're doing good. Keep it up.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh.
Would we have noticed the reaction to the mention of spiders?
Yeah, you would have done. I mean, like, it wasn't a reaction of like, wasn't sort of a. It was more just a reaction of that it's something that she's heard of. It's more the contrast is more the surprise of having of the surprise of at the ice creatures rather than the the reaction she had to the spiders. But
Yeah,
yes,
but it wasn't a thing of a reaction of I've seen these kinds of spiders before. It's just heard that they.
Yeah. Yeah, more of a. I mean, if you roll an insight check, actually, no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, you get the feeling that she's familiar with the idea of them. She's not necessarily at all surprised to hear that would exist down here, or down in these sort of places. Even to the point that she may have seen them once or twice in her life herself.
Yeah.
Sorry. So he was shaken up, but like, did he look like wounded or anything?
No, I don't think he was
an odd
actually.
question.
I don't think he was actually wounded. I think he was fair. Like, I mean, it's always been Lesswyn and Darrak who go into, when something like this happens. Lesswyn and Darrak are the ones would go in and just make sure it's all okay. Like, no one would be. Everton, I think, wants to be able to take on that role, and so that's why he may have been following them, just to sort of get a bit of experience. But I don't think he was necessarily hurt.
Supposed to be there?
I don't know whether he was supposed to be there or not, but I don't think he was actually in combat.
Not have much wish for that role anymore, I imagine.
You wouldn't think so, no.
No. All right. Well, thank you. What was your name again? Look,
Oh, my name's Nalade.
Nalade.
Yes.
Oh, that's a lovely name. I'm Poppy. Nice to meet you.
Poppy, what a lovely name that is.
Oh,
That's like
thank you.
That's like a flower, isn't it?
Oh, yes. I was named after the flower.
Yes.
Because when I came out, I was a wee red thing, and I looked a bit like a poppy. Yeah. My mother is not terribly creative. Simple folk.
She named you she named you wonderfully.
Well, thank you. Thank
Uh,
you.
My like hand on Puppy's shoulder and just be like, well, we're gonna go. Super nice of you to go. And just like
Fair.
push her towards the door.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And she wanders off towards the entrance of the mine. You guys continuing on
To the door.
to the door?
Yeah.
The door is closed.
Can we hear any interesting noises coming from the other side of the door?
Give me a perception check.
Everyone?
Wait.
Anyone who wants to have a listen.
The
Can I do-
23.
Damn. Can I
You
say
call
that
couldn't get a
Poppy?
B. Let's.
Almost an
Did I say that Poppy like turned around on their way back? Can I perceive whether that dwarf lass had a nice butt?
Did you make a perception check?
I would have liked to. I can roll one now.
Sure.
Okay,
While
thank
the
you.
rest of you are focusing on the door, Poppy's looking over her shoulder at the.
Well, you said she had, happy eyes, and she has such a nice name. So, perception. I mean, it's not that hard to perceive a butt, right?
No, it's not. She is wearing sort of, she's not wearing like form-fitting clothing or anything like that, but from what you can tell with the way she's moving and all that kind of stuff, it's not bad.
Nice. All right, thank you.
She's probably
Really?
pretty lean from. If she's working here in the mines, then she's probably pretty fit and pretty lean herself. So.
Ooh, thank you. Well made.
Okay. Aria, Shastra and Espen, you guys can't hear a thing.
Yay.
You get distracted by something that you hear a little bit of scuffling across the way, and it sounds a little bit like the movements that you guys heard down in the mines, and so both of you kind of shift your eyes, and there's just another dwarf just walking from walking out of their room and down it somewhere into the mines a little bit further, but it kind of distracts you from there. Aria, you can hear murmuring voices, like low conversation, not enough to actually distinguish what's actually being said, but enough that it doesn't sound like anything untoward is occurring behind this door.
Okay. I'm going to knock on the door
Mm-hmm.
and call out and say, Avaton, we have a few questions we'd like to ask you.
You hear a little bit of rustling, and the voices again are kind of talking quietly, and then you hear what language you just in common.
Let me double check what languages I know. Yeah, common.
Yeah, just in common. Okay. And so you hear in kind of accented or sort of a little bit broken sort of like there's a little bit of just hesitation around the words, but I'll be right with you. And you give it another sort of probably 30 seconds to a minute, and then the door opens, and
Enough time for pants.
Pretty much.
Yes.
I mean, this guy's, and you find it's what the guy standing before you. He's quite young, probably similar age to Naled, in that sort of the equivalent of maybe sort of late or 20s to around about 20ish, or the dwarven equivalent of that. He's got blonde hair, the beginnings of a nice beard, but it's still sort of very fine at the moment. He's got blue eyes, and he's just wearing a sleeveless shirt, but he's got very highly, like, not quite to the point of unhealthy, but very muscular arms and shoulders. He opens the door and looks out, first of all, at sort of normal height, and then just sort of tilts his head up to be like, "Oh, hi.
Hi.
You're the ones that came from Dewcliff, yeah?"
Correct. And we were told that you saw some things and just wanted to clarify what you actually saw.
And
I know it's a difficult topic, but I want to confirm that what we saw was what you saw.
Because otherwise we'll have to go back in, and
Sorry?
Because otherwise we'll have to go back in,
Oh.
if it's not the same, so.
Yes.
So what was it that you saw, lad? Oh,
Maybe we could go inside first. If it's not too much of an intrusion, of course.
there's a lot of coal around. It would be nice to come in for a minute.
Of course.
Maybe.
Yeah, just give me 1 second, and he sort of looks over his shoulder, and looks over his shoulder, and you hear a little bit more rustling behind the door, where you can't necessarily see at the moment. And after a moment, he pulls the door open, and you can see this is a fairly small room. You'll be able to squeeze in, but it'll be a very tight fit. It's probably only like a 10-foot square room. There's room for a bed, a little sort of chest of drawers, and that's probably, and then just a little bit of space on the floor. But sitting on the bed is a young female dwarf. Looks somewhat similar, to the point of you think they would probably be sisters, to Naled. So she's got the same sort of reddish type of hair. Probably, not sure, maybe a little bit older, but not 100% sure. Whether they are twins or whether they're... But they are definitely related. He comes in, he opens the door, and he moves and sits on the bed next to Evelyn. And then, look, don't know how many of you can fit in here, but yeah, come and talk, or we could go outside if you think that'd be more comfortable.
I'm just gonna stand at like the door frame and just kind of like gesture inwards and just be like, "I trust you guys to do the talking."
not a talker. I mean, I'm a talker, but I'm not like a good talker. So,
I'll lay on the ground in the threshold of the door, just kind of like a rug.
you're so odd. Does that mean it's you and me then?
I can ask some questions.
Yeah, what do you want to know? I mean,
Well, we were told that you were there
yeah, that's right.
when the incident happened, and we were told that you saw something scorpion-like.
Yeah, it was. No, I mean it's the closest thing to what that I know that it looks. I mean, it didn't look like a scorpion per se. It was just. It's kind of the closest thing that I could think of. It had like.
Have you never seen a spider?
It wasn't a spider.
Okay, then. That clears a few things up.
Could you like draw it for us or something?
Have you got some parchment and ink that I could try? I mean, I don't know how good a drawer I am, but if that'll help, then for sure.
Doesn't need to be good. Could we assume that I have some parchment?
Sure.
ready?
Yeah. So
Okay.
you hand over some parchment and ink, and he starts drawing, and he kind of like, he's focused on it for a minute or two. And what he sort of comes back at you with is, Shasta, for you it kind of more resembles a lobster than a scorpion. So it's what he gives you is like, it's got 8 legs, and it's got a sort of elongated tail with like just sort of like a split at the end, and then it's got 2 pincer arms at the front as well. It's sort of, so it's got kind of this elongated creature with 8 legs and pincer arms, and that's about as best as he could describe it. He's like, the whole thing was this sort of whitish grey type of colour.
Alright, I know what this is. Guys, we're dealing with an albino lobster. Real nasty. Gotta be real careful, otherwise it can their claws are real bad. They can break your finger.
And did you know them to be common in the mountains?
I mean, I've never been to the mountains, so. But I mean,
You do know that they usually live in water, though.
I mean, if there's a underground lake or something, then maybe.
Is there an underground lake around here?
Not that I'm aware of. And Evelyn sort of shakes her head silently, in kind of agreement with that. That it's like, don't necessarily know of anything, an underground lake of any sort.
Okay, so what we're getting at is that the thing that the spiders we just took care of is not the thing that unfortunately did them in.
Wait, you took care of spiders?
We travelled into the mine to go and search for the bodies and the creature, and we were attacked by spiders.
Oh.
And some ice things. But we defeated some spiders and came back out, assuming that was possibly what it was.
Yeah, no, I didn't see spiders at all. But I mean, we didn't get very far in either. I mean,
we traveled a couple of, well, I wouldn't necessarily call them chambers, but we did have to go through a small opening. And then when we discovered the bodies, they were wrapped in web.
Wait, where did you go?
And what was the other mine? Where is it?
That's right, there were two paths.
Mine door, right? We didn't
Yeah,
go in like the.
when we walked in, there was like a big cave, and they started off in one direction, and it was in that main cavern that this thing got them. And he drops his head, and he's like, I ran, and it's probably there. I mean, I'm not as well trained, but
You wimped out. What happens to the best of us?
I got scared.
You wimped out.
It is not your fault.
Well, but what if I could have done something? What if...
You know what you are capable of.
Yeah, you keep thinking
And
about.
I don't think that Darrak and Lesswyn would have faulted you for leaving them behind. They were doing their duty, and you did yours. Even if that meant that you had to save your life so that you could inform everyone what happened.
I mean, otherwise,
The situation
people
would
might
be a
just
lot
keep coming
worse.
in.
If you were also gone.
That's nice of you to say. Sorry, Miss.
Call me Arya.
Miss Arya. And while he's sort of having his moment, Evelyn sort of reaches out and just rests her hand on his. He sort of looks up to you and says, he's been planning on training with them for a while, and this was the first time that they actually let him come into a real situation. So, I mean, there's not a lot of these situations that occur, so it's not like he'd been necessarily sort of waiting and not allowed to for previous ones. It's just have to wait till something happens, but it's sad to have lost them.
I'm gonna lean around from like the door frame and just kind of like pipe up and say, there was only one of them that you saw, right?
Only one that I saw, yes.
And nothing chased you or got out of the mine, right?
No, it was busy fighting them, or they were busy fighting it, I guess you'd say. Darrak yelled at me to close the door, but so once I closed it, that was it. I didn't see anything after that.
Mm. Well, I'm keen to go hunting. I'm just gonna kind of like look at the rest of the group, but I'm not gonna. I don't want to like awkwardly avoid eye contact with him and Evelyn. So I understand that I'm being a little bit insensitive.
Yeah, far out, man. You can't keep thinking about what we could have done or what had to be done. You can always think about like what we can do. I think I can go hunting too.
Aria.
I'm up for a good fight. Though I can't do much today. And I'm not sure whether I want to send Poppy back out.
Yeah, that's fair, man.
What
You
he was
were
going to
kind
say.
Oh, he's fighting fit.
I'm not to say today. I'm talking about I don't want to send you back out today.
I was going to say I resent that, but I would like to be more prepared. I don't like bugs. I was going to try and be tough, but I really don't like bugs. Especially after one just almost killed me.
At that, Everton sort of just stares at you, kind of like, he doesn't say anything, but he just sort of has wide eyes and, you know, a little bit of fear in them at hearing that someone else almost got killed as well.
And someone who's supposed to be like good at this sort of thing. In his mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope he doesn't think I'm supposed to be good at things. He's going to be let down quite a bit.
All right, so we go back, we rest, and then we go in the middle of the night. Is that enough for you? Or how much time do you need?
I need enough to regain what I've used, essentially.
Probably a day, or at least a night. A proper sleep.
Like some solid Z's should probably do it, man. At least that's what I feel.
I mean, you can't be too well rested, right?
I don't know, man. You sleep too much and then it's like, I mean, what are you could be using that time to like do something productive. There's only a certain amount of time that sleep is productive rather than burgeoning into like, you get what I mean?
I meant in terms of a fight. You can't be too well rested.
Oh.
But that's a good thought for life. Give me something to think on. Put it in the old notebook. Don't sleep too much.
I think I
Wait,
do
it's in
need
the afternoon by now?
Yeah, it's probably, with the time that you guys have spent sort of wandering around chatting to people and that sort of thing, it's probably sort of pushing towards sort of 3, 4, probably 4 o'clock, 4:30-ish. Sort of, if you head back out from here, you'll see that it's actually quite dark. Not dark, but because you're in kind of a quarry area, the sun itself has actually disappeared behind the mountains, and so where you are is just in sort of that grey light of indirect sunlight and shade.
Gotcha.
I think it's all the lack of direct sunlight and open spaces, but I could go for like a solid nap right now.
Okay, so we go back to the quarters that Vondra showed us, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. I'm just going to give it a little to Abaton and go.
Godspeed. I don't say that, but
Maybe don't be too quick.
You two take care now, all right? Some finger guns.
They give you appreciative. We'll be heading to the tavern a little bit later. If you feel like joining us for a drink.
Do you all go to the tavern most nights?
Well, most people go to one of them, but
Which one do most people go to?
oh, sorry, I mean that we kind of, it depends on how you feel or where you can get a seat.
This
But-
might be a bit stupid, but do you know that girl? There's a girl I met in town here, Nilade. Does she have a tavern she prefers?
Evelyn looks at you. Yeah, she's my sister.
Oh, she seems
We
very
generally,
nice.
yeah, she'll probably be with us. We generally try and get a table at the Barking Giant.
A barking giant.
Yes. Don't ask me why Jurgen named it that. It's a strange name, but I think it's just this sort of thing of, is there some sort of competition with tavern owners to come up with the weirdest name?
That would explain a lot, wouldn't it?
It would.
A lot of odd names out there.
Yes. But
The
I mean,
unsightly verb.
we will be there, and I mean, yeah, we generally drink with Nalade as well, and along with a couple of others. So
Well, lovely. Well, I don't think I have any plans tonight. What do you guys think?
Hmm.
and
I really
Poppy
like
just gets dead silence from
All right.
Pretty outside.
We'll see what happens, I guess. Just realised half of them are outside. I'm gonna go now. And she just awkwardly sort of half doesn't even turn around because it's just so uncomfortable. Just sort of backs away.
Yeah, you're the last one out of the room, so because everyone else has sort of moved out while you were while you were having that conversation. So do you pull the door closed?
Yeah, I'll close it and I'll accidentally close it louder than I mean to.
Yeah.
It'll be really awkward.
Oh man, that like
Yes.
echoes in the cave.
There's a little bit of echo throughout the mine as it sort of cracks.
Oh.
But what would you guys like to do from here?
Hmm.
Are we gonna go to the well, yeah, back to our quarters, or are we going to the tavern?
well, let me just have a look at something quickly.
I think it really depends, at least for Shasta, on when we want to go to the mine.
Yeah. Would going to the tavern equate to light activity?
It's not heavy activity. Well, it depends on how much you drink, I guess. But in general,
No,
yes.
because I'm just reading the rules of the long rest.
Right. I mean, from a mechanical point of view, I generally sort of just go long rest, and especially from the point of view of like a cleric. It is that you do generally have that sort of ritualistic time at when you sort of do your prayer and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
if you're trying to, like, if you do sort of maybe your evening prayers, and if you guys are trying to sort of go, okay, we're going to sleep and then get up at like midnight or something like that, as was sort of half suggested there, then if you normally do your prayers in the evening, then I'd sort of go, yeah, okay, you can go through that and then start at midnight. If you would normally do your prayers first thing in the morning, then it would be more of a case of you sleep and then wake up in the morning and do them then. So technically, yes, you could probably try. I wouldn't say that it would prevent you from getting a long rest in the case of sort of looking for that 8 hours of uninterrupted.
Yeah, I just wanted to more ask if we were doing the midnight going out.
Yeah.
If 2 hours of that could be spent at the tavern and then the other 6
Yes, that could be
doing thing. But
Yeah.
I don't know what activities people are going to get up to at the tavern, and I don't know whether I would be able to help. So I'm just trying to decide.
Yeah.
I think Shasta at least isn't looking to get drunk tonight. I think he wants to take a nap and try to talk to Onadel again. Oh no, well, cool.
Sorry? Everton?
He's visitor.
Yes, the person in my dreams.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Okay.
If it's
Yes,
3
the
or 4,
one with the wings and such.
I might have a quick nap before I look down the tavern. Just like a quick, 20-minute shut-eye, so I'm nice and refreshed. And then I'll, sort of do my hair a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
And
So I think Arya's probably not going to join tavern shenanigans
yeah.
just so that I can get just so I can full on prepare if we want to do a midnight jaunt,
Yeah.
all right.
and then I can prepare spells.
Yep.
Are we all in the same room?
This is you guys. I'm assuming that probably you guys have made your way back to the quarters that you've been given by Vondran.
Were we just given one room though, or?
No, it's one room, but it's got 4 beds in it.
Okay, so
The
I don't have
beds
to
are
knock on
not-
anyone's door.
No, but I mean for you 3 human or human-ish, human-sized folks, the beds are not going to be the most comfortable. You'll still be able to get sufficient rest to classify as a long rest, but these beds are only about 5 feet long. So you may have, ankles or whatever hanging over the edge as you.
I have 2 feet spare.
Meanwhile,
That's
Poppy's
brilliant.
it's even this small bed is still too big for me.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Well, I'll probably turn to Espen and I'll say, "Tavern,
You got me. Let's go.
woo! We're gonna paint the town red, as they say. Although no, because we might have to paint the walls of the cave red. But let's go have fun." And awkwardly does an excited walk out the door.
I follow.
Yep. And Arya and Shasta, you're both sort of just hanging back, having a rest. Shasta, you're going to sort of head off to sleep, thinking about your guide to try and maybe get some conversation going. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm just gonna close my eyes, think of a big seagull, see if that could summon them.
Sure. Okay. So we'll first go then with Poppy and Espen. So you guys make your way out to the tavern. It's getting a little bit grayer outside as you make your way back out, but still you can still see sort of that the sun would be up if you were in any in most places, but the clouds above that you can see are sort of getting a darker grey, and it's a little bit more difficult to see around. But you head over to one of the 2 taverns, the one that has what you assume is meant to be a giant's head painted on the sign above it. It's a generic, fairly generic kind of humanoid-looking head, so you don't know how it's necessarily meant to be a giant specifically, but it does have its mouth open as if it's speaking or yelling or something, so that's the closest they get to labeling it as the barking giant.
Right. So we try this one? Or the other? Do you want to try the other one?
No, I can speak giant, so maybe I can finally eat
Really?
for once. Yeah, my father was weird in some of the stuff he made me and my brother learn.
It's a little odd. Well, let's go in then. Maybe you'll meet a giant.
Maybe. We go in. I slap down a gold. We get smashed.
So you head in, and it's fairly sort of, it's not, there's an atmosphere of sort of just conversation going on, and it's fairly subdued from what you would normally expect, for what you gather to be obvious reasons. Like a lot of people are sort of having hushed conversations around their tables, and then so Espen, you walk up to the bar, again having to sort of crouch over a little bit to keep from banging your head on some of the beams and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you slap down a gold, is that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So the female dwarf who is standing behind the bar has an auburn hair cut fairly short. She's got a bit of a matching beard for it as well, and eyes that are of this sort of they're brown, but they seem to have this kind of violet hue to them as well. So it's kind of like one of those things where if you sort of look just slightly off to the side or out of your peripheral vision or half out of your peripheral vision, they almost seem to go purple. But then when you're actually looking straight at her, it's more brown, and you can just sort of see that hint, kind of like one of those hair dyes that is purple but looks black, type of thing. She's dressed in like just a fairly yellow, fairly free-flowing dress, which is unusual for the area as well, but she doesn't look like she's necessarily the type of person who's going to be out mining or anything. She's here for a particular purpose and keeps herself fairly well looked after by the looks of it. You're up for a big night then. She pops down 2 mugs and fills them up with ale. That'll probably get you, well, I'll keep them coming until you run out if you like.
I like it. Then I pick it up and pass one of the mugs to Poppy.
Thank you. Is it like a dwarf size? Do we have dwarf sized mugs?
They are dwarf sized mugs, yes.
Does that make them bigger than usual or smaller?
They're effectively a pint. Dwarves don't do these things, but dwarves do a lot of things by halves, but drinking isn't one of them, unless it's Carrick.
Cool. I'm gonna go to cheers, Poppy.
Cheers. Yeah. And I'll try very subtly to see if I can see Nalid.
Sure.
In the crowd.
Yep. So give me a perception check.
I'm here as to hang out with my new friend, but also I would like to know if Nalid is here. Oh, that's good. That's better.
Okay, so you look around and you see a couple of shocks of familiar coloured red hair over in one of the corners, and along with blonde hair and a couple of brown couple of dwarves, both male as well, with brown hair, sitting there in a corner.
That's spelled totally wrong. I just realized how you spelled Malade. It's very different.
Yeah.
I like your spelling better.
Yeah.
I'll just sort of note her and then have a bit of a dilemma. Because I'll be like, want to say hello to a pretty girl, but also want to hang out with friend and not be rude.
Can I notice this dilemma?
Give me an insight check, since.
Oh god. Okay. I don't know shit. Oh, okay, not terrible.
Not specifically. She's slightly distracted as you sort of look at her to sort of get ready to engage in a conversation. And you can she's not totally sort of focused on you, so to speak.
You good, Poppy?
Yeah. Love beer.
On your mind?
Girls' night. Sorry.
Something on your mind?
I just well, it's been a big day, and well, you know that wee lass Nalade that we bumped into.
Yeah.
I just really nice eyes and a nice like air about her, and well, she's over there, and I want to hang out with you, but
I got you. And I'm gonna walk across the tavern and tap her on the shoulder.
Yeah, she looks up at you. Oh, hello.
Hi, Nalade it was, yeah?
That's right. It was. I don't think I caught your name.
Oh, Espen.
you're just hiding.
Yeah, super nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
I just, my friend, Poppy, right? And I just felt
Yeah,
like,
the halfling, the halfling. Yes, she was friendly.
Friendly is just the beginning of it. She is like a warrior. You should have seen her like earlier today. She frigging punched a spider and it died. It was amazing, and she would love to tell you about that. And you should ask about it. Truly, no one spins a tale quite like Poppy. Come over here. Come say hi.
Hi. Oh, what's? Oh, I see. Oh,
Hey.
Milad. Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Nope.
And I'm gonna pretend to get a business call and leave them alone. Like, oh, someone's calling me. I gotta go.
Oh,
Okay.
you were such a good friend.
Hey, yeah.
Best wingman ever. Oh no, I don't know how to talk to a girl.
So she shifts across and sort of like, just grab that chair there and just come. Hey, you've got a hell of a story to tell us. And as you sort of look down, so Evelyn and Averton are both there as well, and there's two other male, also fairly youthful. You think this is sort of the young people's table. Having walked through, and like most of the crowd is probably a little bit older than them. This is sort of the next generation coming through. But they shuffle around and make room for you to pull up a chair. Tell us about the spider. Like,
well, I think you made it sound a little.
You punched it to death.
Well, and I sort of see Espen out the corner of my eye nodding, and I go, okay. Well, it wasn't quite that cool. I definitely had some help, but well, there was this one spider. Well, actually, there were these ice fellas first, and you could say it was pretty cool fighting them. I definitely punched a couple of those in the face, and I got a bit cut because they sort of flew everywhere, and I'm very flustered. I don't say that bit. I hope. Although I am quite flustered. And I just sort of like try to make myself sound cool, but don't really know how.
Give me a persuasion check.
Okay,
Probably with
I was
advantage.
gonna like try, but I don't even know how.
With advantage because technically Espen's been helping you.
Oh, thank you so much, Espen. That's good. I only have a +1. I'm very surprised. Oh, thank you. Oh,
So
thank you so much for the advantage.
she and one of the other dwarfs that you haven't met yet both laugh when you both laugh at the fighting them was pretty cool joke, whereas the rest of them kind of give you this letter. They don't give you they don't sort of look down on you or anything, but they just kind of they hold rolling their eyes. They manage to just sort of she seems quite chuffed at it, and she's like, sounds like quite the chilling experience. Did you just... No. We lost her. I don't know. I think...
Oh my goodness.
You are still there. I thought you'd laughed so hard that your microphone had gone to mute.
I'm laughing. I think I'm in love. I'm not even sure if it's me or Poppy.
Espen, you sort of check over there, and Poppy's just sort of stuck in this sort of place of laughter, like trying to regain her breath and trying to regain her.
Oh, I'm so uncool.
I'm gonna signal the bartender and get another mug of ale and go back and slow it down in front of Poppy and pat her on the back, and then spend the rest of my efforts helping her wow them.
As you go back to the bartender, you actually if the entire conversation gets interrupted as one of the other dwarves in there stands up, and you hear this sort of the chair get pushed back, and he coughs loudly. It's like, let's raise a glass to the Frostforges, and the entire bar kind of hey, and all lift their glasses in respect to the toast being made, even though there's not a single piece of glass to be seen in the drinkware available. Razor mug.
These are pints.
Yes, of course.
But
I'm gonna raise my little mug.
So yes, Poppy, you managed to regain control of yourself. One of the other dwarves looks at you like, you're easily entertained, aren't you?
I mean, yeah. I'm a fairly simple lass.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much to amuse me, really.
He kind of chuckles at that, and then he introduces himself as Affletron, and then gestures to the guy next to him as well, and says, "This is my brother Aragard." Alphatron.
Alphatron.
Yep.
Ooh, okay. I'll sort of. Hi, Poppy. Pleasure.
Yeah. So, was it the spiders then that? But Averton here was saying that it was something else. So, how much is down there?
Well, we're not quite sure. We're probably going back in tonight or tomorrow morning. Espen, did you catch what time we were actually supposed to be going in?
Later. Plenty of time to prepare.
All right.
But it's all being taken care of. of course. We have
Yeah.
Puppy with us, so nothing could go wrong.
Not likely. With me on the watch, I'll keep Aspen out of trouble. No, she was pretty great. But
Oh, I'm absolutely sure that you'll keep them all safe.
I'll certainly try.
Nalade says, and gives you a little bit of a grin.
Oh yeah, Poppy even got stung by one of them, and she fought off the paralysis. That's how strong she is. You would not believe. Incredible stuff.
Really?
Oh,
Really.
I've seen someone get bitten by one before. Nalade says that doesn't end well usually.
Well, usually.
yeah.
And
Well, it was just a wee bite.
you're standing here before us now. Well,
It was
sitting,
a massive bite. It was, yeah, harrowing. I would have died. I'm lucky it wasn't me.
It really wasn't that big of a bite.
It was you. Don't downplay it, Poppy. Don't be humble. It's fine. Save space here. Nesvin finishes a second drink and slows it down. It's fine. It's fine. Come on.
It was a fairly big spider, but I wouldn't say the bite was that big.
Huge bite.
Well, I mean, I've had my fair share of, drinks and things in my day. I know how to hold me toxins, as it were. So.
well, of course. And she does so that she, Espen, you do notice that there is still a scar where she got bitten.
Wait, on Puppy?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Look, she even still has the scar. You should touch it. It's pretty gross.
Do I?
You should touch it.
Oh.
I think with consent, Puppy, right? It's fine. We're all friends.
Oh yeah, you can.
Can I?
If you like, you can touch it. I'll sort of prop for my wherever it is. Is it like on my neck or
Yeah,
something?
it was. Yeah. And so she reached out. And she's got very calloused fingers and hands, and she sort of just runs her hand over the scar. She's like, and that was today. How?
Yeah.
You've got some resilience to you, lass.
Well, I mean, we have a healer with us, so the tall one with the pointy ears and the sort of a dignified accent.
Oh, the smoky one.
Oh yes, she was smoking, wasn't she?
I didn't want
Smoking
to.
hot.
Oh, I see what you did there. Oh, she had a real smouldering appearance.
Poppy is so lost, she just covers her mouth with the mug because. Oh, this is great.
Where is it? Literally, this NPC said that they were, that in the realm of puns, she cannot help herself. So you just happened to just hit right on the money when you.
Yes. Oh, she's a blessing for me, miss.
Yeah.
I don't know what I did to deserve this, but oh.
So you guys sort of continue, your how late do you plan on going?
I'm just going off the progression of the interaction between Puppy and her friend. But yes, montage it out. I'm just talking her up, distracting the rest of the group, doing my best wingman performance.
Yeah. So you sort of keep the other, keep the others. I mean, Everton and Evelyn are kind of they're obviously in that sort of real honeymoon part of relationship stuff. So
I'll play into that. Like, did you guys meet? Like, oh my god, I'll put that on for them. Yeah.
One of the so Garagard kind of seems to be a little bit. Actually, give me an insight check, Espen.
Okay. Wow.
So yeah, you notice that Garagard is he's participating in the conversation, but his eyes do keep kind of flicking to Nalade and Poppy, and he was the one that was sitting next to Nalade before you guys came over.
I see. Does he look devastated or just wary? You know what? I've moved past it. I don't care. I've acknowledged it, but who cares?
Probably just a little bit of jealousy going on there. Doesn't look devastated, but
Oh no!
That's fine.
I've fallen in love and I've broken someone's heart. I mean, I don't know that.
No,
I'm
you
lost
don't.
in
No,
Nalade's eyes.
you're lost in these sort of amber dwarven eyes, throwing puns back and forth and basically just sort of laughing. There's a few glances over from various other folk who are still in their sort of somber, this is meant to be a bit of a quiet night kind of thing, but no one prevents you or anything, or sort of has a go at you or anything. They just sort of get you. You do pick up a couple of glances here and there, but the evening wears on. You guys get a couple more mugs of ale into you. Get constitution checks from both of you.
I was going to say I might not have too many more.
Espen, you're fine.
It's a check. All right.
Yeah, constitution check.
All right. Just hoping for a save because I think my stats would be better. But all right.
That's all right.
Okay.
You're both fine.
Rad. Yay team.
But eventually, sort of, Averton, you sort of notice after a little while that the crowd's kind of thinned out a little bit. And there's a little bit of that thing of what you've overheard during the course of the evening as well. At least you have, Espen, is that the family's going to head down first thing tomorrow morning. So a few people are sort of going, okay, going to go to bed, go home, get to bed, and get ready to travel at first light. So not have too much of a late night tonight. So you sort of notice a few people sort of fading out. Averton and Evelyn are the first at your tail to sort of stand up and call it an evening. As they do, Affletram also sort of taps his brother on the shoulder and is like, reckon it's time for us to turn in as well if we're going to head down to the village tomorrow, don't you?
Nalade, would you like me to accompany you back to your dormitory?
Oh, that'd be most welcome. She sort of says a little bit of a giggle to her voice, a little bit sort of nervous. Not nervous, but kind of just uncertainty with it all. Not in the sense of uncertainty about it, just that little bit of sort of
General.
hesitant. Yeah.
Yeah. Groovy. Well, I'll. Would you like to? Can I carry your coat or anything for you?
I don't have a coat, but no, let's just wander.
All right. Sounds lovely. I suppose you'll have to lead the way. I
Well, you
haven't been there before.
you found it. You were there earlier today.
Oh, you're at the same. Oh, right.
I work in the same mine. Yes.
Okay, right. Wasn't sure if you lived there or not.
Espen, what's your?
I'm just gonna hold a long toast as I watch them leave.
Shoot
So
a
approve of
grateful
all of
glance
this.
at her on the way out. Like the ultimate grateful glance. Like, you are the friend of the gods.
And then I'll go home and go to bed.
Okay, right. By the time you get in, both Arya and Shasta are already sort of dozed off. So I'll get you to roll. I'm going to get you to roll a stealth check.
I knew it.
Just because you've had a few. You're not drunk, but you are still a little bit sort of not quite on your senses. You push open the door and get it closed behind you, okay? But then you just, because you're not used to the sort of the size of dwarven beds and that sort of thing, you kind of bang your shin against it.
Cool.
And they both stir but don't actually wake up. And you sort of curl up and head off to sleep. Shasta, as you're sleeping and you've sort of gone to sleep, sort of focusing on Adele.
Ego.
The seagull, yes. On Adele the seagull. Focusing on the seagull. And you feel like you wake up, but you're not awake. And you recognise that, you recognise after a second that the entire sort of your entire vision's slightly blurred, and there's a little bit of etherealness about it, and where you're sitting on like just the edge of a beach. You can hear the waves sort of rolling in over the sand, crashing on rocks a little bit down the way, but your entire vision only sort of goes maybe 30 feet in any direction, and it's just sort of this sort of whitish cloud outside that sort of blocks off anything further, and it's actually a seagull that starts to sort of just swirl around on the wind, and just sort of loops around you a few times. You feel this sort of warmth emanating from it. It doesn't speak or say anything to you. But it's there providing you with this sort of comfort.
I'll try and pull a coin out of my pocket and cast light on it, wave it at the seagull.
The coin lights up. It's not dark but the coin sort of lights up and just sort of radiates, and the seagull, flies down, actually lands. As you hold your arm up, it actually sort of comes to land on your wrist. Being a seagull, having the webbed feet, it doesn't sort of grab around you. It sort of just sort of sits there on your forearm.
Feels real weird.
Looks up, it feels a little bit weird, and it sort of cocks its head and looks. You can see its left eye just staring straight at you. And you hear a voice in your, just a soft, gentle voice in your head say, "Are you feeling okay?"
I mean, yeah, man. Beach, water. You're here, so that's cool. I'm doing pretty all right. You know, got some business to take care of with these spiders and little ice dudes, and maybe a lobster, maybe a scorpion lobster. I don't know, but hey, I've met some cool people and we're gonna take care of it together. You know anything about this albino lobster scorpion thing?
And it sort of pauses for a second. Just sort of looks at you silently for a second, and the caverns are deep, and many things fish within their depths. There are many dangers hiding away. In typical of celestial and, spiritual type beings, not necessarily giving you a direct answer, but more seeming to expect you to interpret it.
I feel you far out, man. I guess we're just gonna dive deep and try not to drown.
The seagull almost seems to nod its head, and then beware the echo. And then takes off and flies back up, and you sort of start to feel the mist that was around you start to swirl, and it disappears into the clouds, and the scene fades. Poppy, I'll get you to also roll a stealth check for when you sneak in a little bit later.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, you're getting fine. You sneak into the room, curl up in bed, and you all get, a nice night's rest, and can have a long rest.
Yay.
Yay.
Longest rest.
For the long rest time.
Yeah.
Oh, for the long rest time.
So you each wake in the morning. What would you... Poppy and Espen, you feel a little bit... You don't feel sort of seriously hungover or anything, but just have that little bit of edge of, I probably had one too many. One more than I probably needed last night.
True. Well, I'm gonna wake up and look at Poppy and just go for a fist bump.
I sort of fist bump her back and I say, thank you. Thank you very much for your help last night.
I look over at the fist bump and I go, productive night was it then?
Oh, what happens at the tavern stays at the tavern.
Wait,
Ready to go?
we had a good night just to ourselves, right? And I reach out and offer a fist bump to Arya.
She does it back.
Hell
I
yeah.
like it.
It's spells are so hard, guys.
I feel you, man. I mean, yeah, totally.
No, that was me coming out loud because I still don't know what last spell to prepare, and it's so annoying. I have so many options. Okay,
The
decided.
joys of clerichood.
Usually I'm okay, but when there's a couple of spells that can do similar things,
Yeah. Yeah. So as you all awake, there is a knock on the door again, and there's the same younger dwarf that came and served you the food yesterday. Also provides you again the same. It's just water in the jug this time. They seem to be providing you with not necessarily providing with the full dwarven experience of drinking ale for breakfast as well. But it's a similar sort of meal. There's a few sort of those sort of ground sort of berries and strawberries and that sort of thing included, along with the same sort of earthy, mossy, fungus type of based as the base for most of the meals. So it's got that sort of real earthy type of tone to it still, but now sort of providing you with the extra sort of bit of sweetness from the berries to accompany with it. And as she delivers the food, she's like, I think Father will be leaving in about an hour or so. If you wanted to accompany him back to the village.
Slept longer than we meant to.
You think he would like that? Or
yeah, I thought we were told that it was going to be a couple of days, so that even if we had
slept, I think you are right.
And then we were going to have like at least one more day.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So no. Yeah. So there's a few dwarves out in the town, or out in the, I say town, are planning on heading back anyway, because sort of operations have pretty much just shut down at the moment until the dead are buried. So there's a few people that are going, yeah, okay, we're going to head off early, have a couple of days with the family down in Dewcliff, that kind of thing.
suppose we should head back into the mine then.
Yeah, we'll meet him in Dewcliff.
I'm cancelling that particular statement. Sorry, because I'd forgotten that I said that last week. So she doesn't say that. She's like, just explains to you exactly what I just explained about a few people heading off if you wanted to journey with them.
Yeah.
Father and I will be heading, I think, tomorrow. I think he said. He's just got to leave it for Lesswyn and Darrak to be prepared properly for travel.
Okay, well, we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay. Sure, she says, and she wanders off, leaves you to what you would like to do.
What?
Well, that she's Vandross's daughter, yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
She's Danny's sister now. It must be hard.
So I'm gonna finish like donning my armor and then. Are we ready?
Ready?
Ready as I'm gonna be, man.
Are you?
Sure.
Let's go. And now I excitedly exit the.
Well over.
You head your way. You make your way back down to where the entrance was, and you actually find Averton standing there. He's got a battle axe in hand, and he's got armor on. He's doesn't say anything. He just watches you approach.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. I thought you might come back after our conversation yesterday.
Yes, I do believe that was the plan. Are you just making sure we do our job, or?
Well, I thought I could come with you.
Ooh.
Are you sure you're up to that? It's terribly close to your last incident. I wouldn't want to burden you.
But I don't want to hide again. Whatever, if you didn't kill whatever got them, then it's still down there, and that means it could get someone else.
Well, it could, but there's more of us already than there were of Lesswyn and Darrak. So,
Well, that's true. Do you not want me to?
well, I mean, I don't mind. You're welcome to in my book, but I just thought. Well, I just feel like you've already lost so many people.
I feel like there's a lot that you can do here without necessarily. Like they've already lost 2 people. They don't want to lose a third good one so quick, you know.
I mean, if you're sure you're up for it, then I mean, if you're sure, I suppose.
Oh, I don't want to. I don't know if sure's the right word, but I don't want to leave them behind. I don't want to be left behind.
All right. Does that work with you all?
Of course. The more the merrier. We got you.
Though if you do change your mind, we will not hold it against you.
Oh, I won't change my mind.
The spirit. Right. Onwards and upwards. Or downwards.
Besides, at least I can tell you where they were going.
Yeah, I guess you like actually know these caves and aren't just stumbling in the dark.
I guess.
That's helpful. Yeah. I didn't
Exactly.
even think of that.
He looks pretty resolute, so yeah, if you guys are okay, like sort of, if no one sort of tries to put any heavy effort into stop him, then yeah, he'll open the door and basically sort of walk through first. And that will mean that we need to move you guys to there again.
Here we go again.
Woo.
Let's-
Still on the board.
Ah, Poppy. Where's she?
Sorry?
They're still on the map.
I will delete the...
I'm so scared.
No, because they would still be there from
Unless something in the way.
The corpses
That
are
would be
still
weird.
there from.
That would be weird.
Yeah, the corpses are still there from.
I just
Yesterday.
wasn't prepared.
I feel like it would be more ominous if they were gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a very true point. Who's that I've still left down there? Oh, there's two. Oh, that's Espen twice. Okay.
Poppy, get your paralyzed self over here.
I don't know what you're talking about. There's never paralyzed. Like it cool.
Right. There we go. And I just need.
Is anybody lighting up a torch, man?
What for? Oh, can you not all see?
Not all of us are blessed with the gift of foresight in the dark. And I'll light my own torch.
Right.
God damn it.
I subtly make it the good torch.
Give me a. Because what's. Light is just somatic, isn't it? Is that what we established, or is that.
Light is verbal and material.
Okay, so give
What
me
is it?
a.
Control flames, though, is just somatic.
Okay, so give me just a stealth check on. Oh no, that's all right. We'll just
Yeah, just hang back.
Yeah. And so I'm on the roads. Right.
Yeah, I'll gladly make a stealth check if you want.
Okay, make a stealth check.
Since I keep doing it. That's a 6.
So you guys all hear Shasta mutter this sort of strange word, and then Espen, your torch just sort of goes and lights up even brighter.
I see.
And Averton kind of lifts up a hand and says, I might just sort of step a little bit away just to get... I can't see anything.
It's not that. It's just a good torch.
Yeah, but he's a dwarf who spends 99% of his time underground. And he doesn't use light because he's got dark vision.
Respect the light, man.
So he wanders up here and he's like, it was over in that direction over there, and he's pointing off into sort of this realm.
Well, that wasn't where we went.
No, it certainly wasn't.
Well,
It's also where we found their bodies. Ugh.
Well,
that's not where you found... What? So, where did you find their bodies?
You know that that small gap over there?
Oh, wow. That's not where they... That's... Oh.
Through there was where we found the spiders, and then we found their bodies, though their bodies were in web.
So the spiders came and got them after all.
That was my deduction. Possibly you... If we hadn't come when we did, there may not have been any bodies to find.
Well, I'm glad you found them then. And he sort of starts leading the way up to here. And you kind of get that sort of... I'll just click that out as well. You see, and he points to sort of just over here as he's sort of walking. Hey, what am I doing? Oh, right. I'm going to keep changing there. So he points over to sort of in this area here. He's like, that's where the thing was.
So what were you doing down here? Actually finding? This creature or a disturbance, I'm assuming?
Oh, well, there was... Well, whenever... Occasionally we find places like this, and it's usually Lesswyn and Darrak's job to try and sort thing to try and just come in and make sure that none of these there's nothing serious that will hurt the miners, and this one hurt them.
Can we see any visible like tracks or anything on the ground?
Give me a perception check, please.
Okay.
There are tracks, but I mean, there's disturbed dust. You don't necessarily able to sort of specifically say, "Yep, that's a set of tracks there. That's going that way," or anything like that. There's just dust, and it's being sort of moved around in different ways.
Like a survival check.
Yeah.
For
Yep, go for it.
Ruby.
My
Thank you.
survival's is good. Perception.
Never mind.
Doesn't give you any sort of real insight into.
Yeah. Oh, you wanted an insight check?
No, it doesn't offer you.
I'm sorry. Right.
Can I go up to where the bodies, where he saw it?
Yep. So he saw it up here.
Yep.
As
I want to have a good look at that particular spot.
Oh, you sure, but as you actually sort of walk up that way, you let me just find token.
Bring it. I should have stealthed up.
Oh no, it's more that it rolled really badly on its stealth.
Oh, okay.
Medium,
Yes.
yep, so it's the right size. As you sort of walk along that way, so I'm going to just move you back a little bit because basically you catch sight of it there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to get you to roll initiative. It would not be ready. It was not holding an action or anything like that, so it doesn't get a chance to surprise you.
Are we all rolling initiative?
Yes, just did everyone grab their token while they were doing it?
Nope. Oh,
Yes.
no.
Oh, grab token?
Hang on.
Is that how you do it?
I need to clear it, so everyone hold one moment. Okay, grab your token and roll initiative, but I'm going to just reset it to whatever your roll was the first one.
Yep.
I only rolled one higher.
Rolled better, but I can. I adjusted my
I
own.
also
okay,
only
cool.
rolled one higher.
I feel that too.
Try and
I
adjust
really-
it to 6.
And
That point one is
6.
always amusing to me.
Yeah.
Gotta add in the tiebreaker of my lovely 10 dexterity.
And what? Oh, right. I know why that's it did that. Because I'm doing it on this one. And right. Anyway. Add. What did it roll? 6.
What do you mean I had the highest initiative?
That is a really poor set of initiative. Wow.
Actually, rolled
Yeah.
a 6 the first time, but I can't work out how to edit it.
No,
Sorry.
sorry, I thought I fixed yours. Sorry. There we go.
Oh, yeah. Thanks.
Pop. You know, your dex is going to be higher than that one, so that's all right. Shasta, you have the first turn, but you have not seen this yet. Arya's just the only thing you've seen is Arya's walking up, and then she sort of you see her sort of turn to her right and look down into this direction down here.
All right. I will walk over like, hey man, what's...
And then you
Oh.
see this thing as well.
Oh, that's not a lobster. Okay.
It is sort of whitish grey. Oh, I didn't roll for
You didn't roll for what?
Everton.
Well, me.
Oh, Abaton.
No, for the 6 other lobster things that are on the ceiling.
Oh, I did that wrong. There we go.
Yeah, I guess seeing this, I will look up just to make sure.
Yeah. You look up and you don't see anything else.
Okay, that makes me feel better. And then I will charge in and try to hit it with a booming blade on my longsword. And I'll have my shield up, so it's only a one hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So an 18.
And for the booming blade,
Hit. Yep.
if it moves or attempts to move, it'll take 3 thunder damage.
Okay. Right, so it takes 4 points of damage now. Is that right?
Yes. That will be my turn.
Let me just... Okay. So you follow Arya up, and then you charge in and you hit this with your longsword. And there's Arya and the rest of you as well. Arya, you see a little bit of a sort of almost a hint of like the crackle of lightning as his blade hits. Espen and Poppy and Arya, you all hear kind of this sound, just like the distant echo of thunder, echo off the cavern walls. And is that your turn?
Yes.
Yep. Arya, it's your turn.
Okay, I am going to. Yeah, why not? I'm going to hit this creature with Bane.
With Bane.
Yep.
Okay. Which means it needs to make
Let's make a charisma saving throw.
charisma saving throw.
Yep.
It's not very
DC 14.
It's not very charismatic.
Hey.
-3.
You weren't kidding.
Okay.
That's really not charismatic.
It is. You cast Bane, and this sort of shadow just sort of comes over and coalesces around it. And for a second, it looks like it's actually just going to envelop it, and then just sort of fades back out of existence. But there's just this sort of hint of magical energy hanging around.
And then I will move. Yeah, I'll move sort of a little bit around the corner so that it can no longer see me.
Sure. Yep. Okay, and that's your turn?
Yep.
No worries. Poppy.
Right. Oh, I can move through other people's. I'm trying to work out how to. Sorry. How to drag.
Yeah.
I can't drag my token. my token won't move. I'm trying to get to like, I guess just as close as I can to this thing.
Yeah.
Can't move my token, but
Oh, really?
that's what I would be. No, it's oh, I think that's my fault. There we go. Wait. Yes, that was me. Right, that's 25 feet.
Uh-huh.
That's 30 feet. And now give it the old 1-2 and spend a key point to make it a 3.
Okay, sure.
Okay, awesome. So the first one will be with my cotter staff. And then the next 2 will be with my fists.
Yep.
Just trying to remember where everything is. Right. And then, and I'll mark off a key point. Don't think that last one would have hit.
Right.
Maybe not too.
Okay, so the 23 is the only one that hits, so sorry, I was just getting there. Music,
Alright.
audio fixed up as well. Background audio, I hope. So you're 23, so you run in, you miss with your first strike, and then get it a really good strike on just straight on the head, doing the 5 points of damage. And try to just sort of swing around and maybe feel like you maybe not quite on your game still. You're sort of still recovering a little bit from the big night before, and maybe just have a little bit of maybe something else on your mind. So when you try to just come in with that extra unarmed strike, it manages to sort of lift up one of its claws and sort of brush it aside.
Love, you've made me weak.
Is that your turn?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, Everton moves around here, and then sees this thing and freezes up. He sort of, Espen and Arya, you see him sort of just battle axe in hand, ready, and then he just sort of his face just goes white for a second, and he's just staring at this thing in like absolute terror. And that's his turn. Meanwhile, this is going to claw once at Shasta and then once at Poppy as well. So Shasta, for a 9, you manage to see the claw coming, and it's probably it's part of the sort of, it does it as part of the sort of parry of Poppy's unarmed strike. So you've seen its claw moving, and it comes towards you, and then you're able to sort of duck out of the way. And then the other claw comes around to try, almost like this big roundhouse punch, if it was doing so towards you, Poppy. For a 20.
That'll hit.
That'll hit.
Well, I'll double check.
If you've got an AC of 20 or
yeah,
21.
that'll hit. Well, you made it sound like a question, so I thought I'd check, but...
Yeah. So... It rolls a 1 and an 8.
Fantastic.
No, sorry, a 1 and a 6. Sorry, on its 2d6. So it does 10 points of damage.
All right.
How you doing?
Just realized D&D Beyond seems to have put me back down in how many HP I'm supposed to have max. Because it was 13 before, wasn't it?
It was 13, yes.
And now it says 10. So, but I would be on 3 right now.
Yes,
So.
yes, that's right. Yeah. We can fix that in a minute. But
There we go. Or no,
Okay.
I can count.
Were those with the minus D4?
Oh.
Sorry,
you
I
are
was
absolutely
working
correct.
on something else quickly. I was looking
Wait.
at my stuff. But
So, does a 17 hit you, Poppy?
That's my armor class.
Okay, so still, is the Bane on damage rolls as well, or is it just the attack?
it's attack rolls and saving throws.
Okay, so yeah, so it still hits and still does the 10 points of damage, unfortunately.
That's okay.
Why does that keep changing to 12?
Appreciate it.
Okay, so that's the... I don't know why that's doing that, but anyway. So that's its turn, and Espen, you are now at the con.
Cool. So I'm going to run 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Mm-hmm.
And see it just finishing slashing Poppy.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna hex it for my bonus action.
Okay, yep.
And then you can use 2 cantrips in a turn, right?
No, you can...
The bonus action has to be the spell, right?
You can use a leveled spell and a cantrip as long as one is a bonus action and the other is an action. It doesn't matter which one's which action wise.
Yeah, that's right. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, yes, I will hex it.
Mhm.
With its disadvantage being on dexterity.
Yeah.
And then Espen's gonna close her eyes and summon a stream of like sickly black energy from her hand and Eldritch Blast it.
Right. So whereabouts are you standing? Yep, everyone, you all see Espen. First she mutters this comment, and again another sort of not the same sort of shadowy form Shasta that you saw happen when Arya cast her spell, but more of a sort of glossy black. Just sort of envelops it, and then Hank then fades away, just leaving this sort of tendrils of mystical energy wiggling around it. A 19 does hit.
Yeah, that's a whopping 2 damage. 1 force, 1 necrotic.
One force and 1 necrotic. So, and then Espen also just pulls her hand back and releases this blast of like black energy out of her hand, similar to what you saw Carrick do. Not exactly the same type of energy, but very similar sort of appearance as it strikes the creature, and it sort of glances off it and crashes more into the wall behind it, but it does seem to have done some damage as it made contact. And that's Espen, your turn. Shasta.
Could you like always do that, man?
Espen's kind of like a little bit dazed. She doesn't respond.
Yeah. All right. Well, if we're all being forthright, I'll stow my shield and try to hit this thing with a shocking grasp.
Okay, give me a 9 will not.
I will use favored by the gods.
Yeah.
And try to. Nah, I won't. I won't use favored by the gods. I'll let it miss.
Okay. Yep. So that's your action. You doing anything else?
I'll take a shimmy down this way.
Okay. So Espen and Poppy, you see Shasta reach out and try to touch this, and as he reaches out, his hand kind of crackles with this sort of flickering lightning. He doesn't add the creature itself actually ducks out of the way, but there's a little bit of revelation happening between everyone at the moment. Arya, it is your turn.
Okay, so I'm going to come back around.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to notice that Poppy is hurting,
Yep.
and I'm going to healing word.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Now smack that person.
So that is 6 points of healing.
Oh, thank you.
And then you can use your reaction if you want to hit it.
Mine.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I'll do that.
Because I got to remember that. I've got to say, yeah, you've got to use your reaction.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Is that like an action attack or a bonus action attack?
It's
Kind of thing.
just an action, just a straight attack action. So
Yeah.
Oh, wicked. Well, then I'll use the quarterstaff. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So roll your attack.
Yeah.
Oh, 11 does not hit. So you feel this sort of warmth, that curing energy come through you, and as you do, Arya sort of goes, hit it, and you try to, but it doesn't. It manages to sort of, as it's sort of ducking out of the way of Shasta's hand as well. It sort of just its movement takes it out of the way of your quarterstaff as you're swinging at the same time. That's your bonus action, Arya.
Yeah, and then I'm going to Sacred Flame.
Sacred Flame. Jeez. A dex save.
With disadvantage.
On which it has disadvantage.
Disadvantage. Yeah.
And it has to do the Bane thing. This is great.
What's your spell save DC?
My spell save DC is 14.
Okay, so it's going to fail then, because the least it can roll there is 1, which means... Oh, no, because then it still beats it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's just...
Hey.
Never mind.
Hey. So it's 3 points of radiant.
So it takes 3 points of radiant damage. So this holy flame just sort of comes to rest on it, and it shrivels away a little bit from both the light and the pain itself. I take it that's your turn?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Which means we are now at Poppy. For some reason.
For me.
Avaton still shaking in his boots.
The turn order's gone weird for some reason, so...
Oh, I see.
He can go first if you like.
No, he's got a slower dex mod, so... It's alright, you go.
Alright, fantastic. Well, I'll scooch over here so that everyone else has a better view.
Yep.
But I've not left his thing, so... and I'll hit him with my quarterstaff, or try to. And depending on how that goes, I might use my other key point for a flurry of blows. Okay, I'll take that
25
action.
does hit, so you hit
Fantastic.
it, and hit it pretty hard. We're doing 10 points of damage.
I think I will. I think I'll use my other key point to do another flurry of blows.
Sure.
And do 2 unarmed
Yep.
strikes.
Swing
with
away.
that. Not great.
13 is not
I'll
high
try my
enough.
other
No,
one.
but roll your other one. 21 is high enough.
Awesome.
So you sort of just don't quite get through. Your first hit kind of just crunches against its armor and is not against its like chitinous plating, and does not sort of make penetration. But then you come through with your other one and manage to find a gap, and you feel sort of okay, that's flesh, and your fist just sort of dives into it, and it sort of winces a little bit. Or looks like it's wincing anyway, at the pain of being hit. That's Poppy. Averton. Manages to shake off his fear, and so he sort of starts gets his resolve in. And starts coming, what do we got? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And you suddenly see, Shasta, you see Averton come up alongside you, axe at the ready. He used his turn to actually shake off the fear, but he's ready and looks ready for a fight. It is now this thing's turn. It is going to so out in this direction here, it spurts out just this. It's like webbing, but it's sort of thicker, and so it's kind of like that spider webbing that you saw spread around in different places, but it's this sort of thick, almost like a rope type of thickness, and it flies out, and both Averton and Arya are both. So Arya, you feel this this filament come past you, and it sticks to you, and you can't feel like it's gonna be. It's gonna be. You know, it's just sort of sticking to you. You try to sort of shake it, and it's a little bit. It's stuck pretty hard.
And this isn't an attack roll.
No, this is just a effect that happens. So
okay.
Yeah. You can make a check to make an escape check.
Yep.
On your turn, but when you can try to escape on your turn, but at this point it just happens. Go away, arrow. So that's what that does. Let me just. Yep, that's all it does. So, Espen, it is your turn.
Cool. I'm gonna run up and hit it with my sword.
Sure.
Cool. Let's do it. Oh, hey.
Hey!
Natural 20.
Hey.
Are we one or two handing it?
Two hands.
Two hands. So, who got 9,
Attack level.
18. So what's this? Oh, it's got set up so it rolls a second die automatically on the crit.
Yes.
So 9, and the first one's actually a 5 plus 4, so that's, yeah, okay, cool. Right, I like this. 18, and another 3. 21 points of damage.
Cool. And then as I pull my sword out, I'm gonna action surge and hit it again.
Right, okay,
Yes!
so you run up, and you get a really good strike in it. Your blade passes through its armor, put the sort of plating around its back, and digs right into it, and you yank it out, and as you yank it out, this sort of green gooey blood sort of starts to pour out of the wound, and it lulls a little bit to that side, unable to sort of, just sort of seeming like it's weakened. and you action surge, so you just filled with this energy. You get ready to go again. A 12 does not, so you come back again, and this time your sword kind of just twists a little bit in your hand, and so it kind of hits it with the flat of the blade and glances off the plating rather than actually hitting it solidly. It's still standing, sort of. Shasta.
All right. This thing looks hecka hurt, yes?
Yeah. That's one way to put it.
All right. Then I'm gonna try and touch it and shock and grasp it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
Oh, yeah.
Nice, you guys.
Yeah. So now that it's sort of not able to move very well, you reach out and your hand crackles with this electric energy. And you basically sort of just get it right in the opening that Espen's sword has just left. And the electricity just sort of crackles through into its body. You can see it sort of start twitching. And it falls dead at your feet. At all of your feet, because you're all, other than Arya, gathered around it.
You know, if this were a lobster, we'd be eating real good tonight, but
Yeah.
lobsters don't have green blood.
Oh. Don't they?
No, they just have regular blood. I don't know what this is, and I almost don't want to know what it is, but...
Anyone who wants to can make a nature check.
Do I have to break out of my thing first before I do that?
I can make a nature check. I'll do that.
Yeah,
I
look,
think
because like combat's over, Arya, we can basically just say, yeah, you are able to get out of it, unless you actually want to roll.
Won't be great.
Would I be rolling?
It would be a strength.
Strength?
It loses some of the stickiness because the creature itself is actually dead.
Okay, so strength saving or strength check?
One sec. Just a strength check. Oh, sorry. So it's either you can do, it's just general escape. So it's an escape check. So you can use athletics or acrobatics.
Both are the same.
Right.
Follow your heart.
That would not get away.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
I'm happy to come over and give her a hand.
Oh, I did worse. Almost. Okay.
Not even Everton has a little bit of a struggle getting out of it to start with. But okay, who rolled nature? Espen and Poppy. You both have at least heard of what's called a cave fisher, which is effectively sort of a preying. A creature that does hang around in caves like this. Is not unusual, really, that it should be here. It's a predatory creature. It's interesting that the spiders somehow got hold of the dwarves, because this thing probably should be a little bit more... They probably wouldn't come near it if it had been just by itself, and not just like if it had been just sitting there and had taken its prey and was ready to go. So it's interesting that the spiders managed to get those bodies, but
All right. Well, I'm thinking we all take a quick breather, and then we go further in and make sure there's nothing else that needs taken care of.
Maybe.
Does that sound like a good plan?
I mean, how hurt are you?
Me? I'm doing okay. I'm sure a little breather will help, but if I had to put like a numbered scale on it, I'd say I'm doing about 9 out of 13.
All right. I'll
You know,
walk
I'm
over.
doing okay. I'm doing okay.
Hey, man, hold still. I got you. And I walk over and give her a. All right, let's do a 2 boops. Let's give you a boop boop. I will
boop.
healing hand for 2 points. 2 hits.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll take those.
So you feel the warmth coming through, and you just feel that little bit stronger. You probably feel like maybe if you were to rage it again, maybe now an 11 out of 13.
Oh, interesting.
And
Yeah,
as you sort of, sit there and, you reflect a little bit now, have a chance now that the battle itself is over to sort of reflect on the fact that there's a few of you that have been maybe hiding some things. That's where we'll end tonight's session.
If you wanted to be meta about it, you could say some of these people are hiding things.
You could. You're not the one that's hiding anything, though.
Well, I have to go now. Good night.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh,
secrets!
I did not expect the pun character to be the one that...
I'm so happy. I'm so in love. Oh,
that's just a match made in heaven. Yeah, so we will leave it there for this evening. I know that things are a little bit sort of tense and stressful around for most of us at the moment. So take care of yourselves, make sure you're safe, keep your hands washed, and
don't touch your face.
Don't touch your face.
Oh, hand sanitizer.
Don't kiss anyone that you don't know. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Good night.